Hello everybody, welcome to this special presentation. Today we have the honor to host Mr. Alain Lambert, Chairman of the Board of Cyprium Mining. This company is involved in copper, but I'll let Mr. Lambert describe us how his company works, what is their business model, and why should this company represent your potential next investment. So Mr. Lambert, thank you for coming by.
Thanks for having me.
Excellent.
Good to see you again.
Thank you. Can you detail us in few words what is Cyprium Mining? Because before you were Freya Resources, now you changed your name for Cyprium Mining.
That's right. Cyprium Mining was co-founded by myself and our CEO, André Saint-Michel, in 2012. And we took the company public through a shell called Freya Resources in 2013. And then this year we changed the name back to the original name. Cyprium actually is a Latin word for copper, and we're mainly a copper company.
Okay, excellent. Tell us about the 5-year agreement you secured for the plant, because I know you had also La Coyome plant that was in your project when you mentioned in the last interview. Now you have a new plant that you secured a 5-year agreement. Tell us about that, how it's going to impact Cyprium Mining, and what was the strategy behind this agreement? That's
right. Well, as we discussed last time, the business plan of the company is to focus solely on northern Mexico. Okay? This is where our CEO lives. This is where all of the mining team lives, and so we focus on the geology of northern Mexico. So we look for projects that can be put into production very quickly and that have a large exploration potential. So to that end, because we did significant exploration at our main project, which is called Las Cristinas, this year, and we filed for a production permit, which we expect to get shortly. So we're making plans to produce next year. So therefore we said, well, what's the fastest way and least costly way to go into production? And we came to the conclusion it was to secure the rights to the plant that you just mentioned, which is located between the town of Chihuahua and the mine. So it's an operational plant, and we acquired the exclusive right to use that plant for the next 5 years.
Okay, and how is this plan going to help Las Cristinas move forward? Because you also have the La Coyome plant.
That's right. So when we purchased Las Cristinas, it came with a piece of land in Coyame. It has some buildings and some production assets, which if we were going to use that site, we would have to upgrade, and make purchases and buy flotation cells and so on and so forth. So, and that's still available. We still have that land and these assets. However, since the plant that we secured was already operating and really doesn't need any major improvements, then we decided to go that way. So what we're going to do in the first phase is we're going to start offering tolling services to small miners close to that plant. And when we get the production permit and we start producing at Las Cristinas, then we will truck in some of the mineralized rocks from Las Cristinas into the plant. And eventually the goal is to have a processing facility at the mine site. But that's for later.
Okay. So, now, so La Coyome plant, you might eventually use the assets that are there, bring them in Las Cristinas, but that's for later.
That's correct.
In terms of the cash flow that you expect to generate with this new plant, can you give us a range, or can you tell us in a time frame where you expect to be cash flow positive? Because that's one of your key advantage and your corporate advantage in what you mentioned in your corporate presentation.
That's correct. So I might not give you some estimates of cash flow just because they wouldn't be 43-101 compliant. But to answer your question, yes, the plan is to process ore from third-party miners, and then on that production we expect and certainly hope to get a profit. Then the corporate goal is to take those profits and reinvest them in the development of our own project, which is the copper mine called Las Cristinas. I say mine because it used to operate in the 60s and the 70s, and we're hoping to bring it back into production. So if we're successful in starting the production, say in January of 2015 with 2 to 3rd miners, then we should be in a position to start generating cash at that moment, and then we should be able to reinvest that cash for the development of Las Cristinas right away.
Okay. Considering Las Cristinas, you already completed a phase 1 drilling program. When is the phase 2 drilling program expected, and the 43-101 report also? It's really important.
Yes, very, very important, yes. So we, as you said, so we completed 1,200 meters of drilling just recently this fall, and we announced those results. And we're currently conducting phase 2, and so we're hoping to get the reports and the analysis of that phase 2 sometime in January, at which point we would announce the results publicly.
Okay.
And then on the basis of the exploration that was done early in the year through surface sampling and the 2 phases of drilling, then we should be in a position in 2015 to issue a 43-101 compliant resource estimate.
Okay. So do you expect, is your strategy to actually be in a position where you can quickly produce the 43-101 report, or wait for the production permit to be delivered by the authorities of Mexico and then move with the 43-101 report, et cetera, to actually bring the production from Las Cristinas to the plant that you just secured? When agreement.
Yeah, I guess the answer to that is when you invest the dollars to do it, when do you publish it, and I guess part of that answer is going to be given to us as we work on our financings in 2015, and so it might very well be that investors will require the reports to be published, in which case we would accelerate that. So we're very much at the planning stages right now, and we should know exactly, have a better idea of timing in January, February 2015.
Excellent. So let's keep up with your point that you just mentioned. We're talking cash now, right? 2 things. First of all, the CEO of Southern Copper today said a statement that is bullish on copper prices. At what price do you think that copper needs to be for your project to continue to be making money? And how much cash do you have right now, and when do you intend to actually make another round of financing?
Okay, so maybe I'll start with the second question. Yes. So between cash and marketable securities and other short-term assets, we probably have $450,000 of resources available, which obviously is not sufficient to put a mine into production. Yeah. But it certainly allows us to get the cash flow going. Okay. So to that end, we're working right now on our financing plans. I was actually in Europe the last 10 days working on that. So we're hoping to finalize those plans shortly, and then we'll be able to tell our investors more about how we're going to fund the development. So so we'll hope to come back here and tell you more about that in the first quarter of 2015.
Okay, excellent. And what about the copper prices? What do you think the good copper, healthy copper price should be for your project?
So so again, in order for me to give you a firm number, I would have to have a feasibility study compliant with 43-101, and it would have to be on CDAR. But I think the way to for investors to look at us currently is that we are small. We start small, and investors can go to the results of our drilling program that we announced. That's public, and say, well, if the company is able to start a small production based on those public figures, and if it has low capex, which we currently have, at least for the processing plant, because we don't have capex unless we want to increase capacity, then can the company be what typically they would refer as a low-cost producer? And so we've got low overhead, low capex. We've got drilling results which show that in some areas some pretty good grades. So we hope that we'll be able to be a low-cost producer. Okay. And but jointly with that, so the tolling services that we will offer to the small mines that are close, that's going to be more lead, zinc, silver. Okay. So that should produce some kind of edge, if you will, on commodity prices, hopefully, or some diversification should be a better word. Yes.
All right. So, what would be your challenges for the next year, Mr. Lambert? What will you be working on?
Yeah, the number one challenge, I think, like all of my peers, is financing. As I said, I came back last night from Europe, and I'm sure glad that we're more than just exploration. So if we were a pure junior exploration company, I wouldn't have a smile on my face right now. So that's the number one challenge. And that's really what the investor should be looking for, right? Because for the execution of our business plan, we'll need financing, you know, call it $1 million to $3 million, depending on you know, how fast we want to go. And once we can secure that, then we can start executing.
All right. So
Well, I should say we're already executing, but we could execute a little faster and more. That's
okay.
right. That's right.
Okay. Excellent. So, Mr. Lambert, you definitely have a lot on your plate for next year. Wish you all the good luck, and of course, never hesitate to come back for a follow-up interview.
Well, thanks for having me again.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks.